allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First thing I have is approval of agenda. Is there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Next, we have the minutes of the meeting.
I would change one thing where it says that they're talking about the Willow Creek Bridge. It says the start date was September 14th. I'll credit that to October 14th. Otherwise, the minutes read very well. And I'll move to approve the minutes of that correction.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes with one correction. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Okay, Ken. Being you're in a hurry, well.
Thank you. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Hopefully better than I am.
Yeah.
Heck of a morning.
Crazy morning.
Just wanted to go over the quarterly report. Said before, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can see revenues are up quite a bit, probably almost an increase of $10,000 over last quarters. And that's due mainly to the increase in fees for paper services. I think I talked to you guys about that the last one,
Yeah.
that they were increasing.
Explain the interest at the end, please.
I'd have to ask Sean about that, I didn't even look at that before I came up here.
It's my understanding that you guys have your own, they have their own checking account down there. Is that what the interest is from, maybe?
It could be.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There's quite a bit in there if that's off of a checking account. It takes a lot of money to get 8% interest, but I don't know what period of time that is over either.
Well, before the
The
quarter, I'm
$8
sure.
per
Quarterly,
Nice.
even for quarterly, that takes pretty healthy checking account, so I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious what that is.
I can find out.
Yeah, why don't you get back to us on that?
Okay.
Any other questions for Ken on the quarterly report?
If there are none, I'd make a motion to approve the quarterly report.
I'll second.
Sheriff's Department.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the quarterly report. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried.
Okay, I just wanted to go over a couple other things that we've been doing. Perhaps a couple of you have seen the,
Get the wrong date.
Is it not? Oh, sorry, did I have a second on it?
Today's the night.
I'll just change it here.
I know, well.
That's it.
I'll change the pencil. Okay, go ahead, Ken.
perhaps a couple of you have seen the permanent speed display signs that we put up, one on the south end of Willie, and then there's also one on the east side of Halber. We will be paying for those through our department, but we're getting reimbursed through the Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau. We just have to pay for them, then submit the claim to the GTSB, and that's how we're using our STEP money. We're doing the STEP programs every year. So,
How much are those?
about $3,700 apiece.
Plan on getting any more, or you guys is there gonna be any more grant money for that?
Yes, there will be. Unfortunately, it's just year to year.
Sure.
So, and we had last year's, we had to spend it by November, and then we just completed this year's, which is, will be given in November, so that's why we got two of them.
So how are they powered then?
Solar powered.
Solar?
Yep. And they're pretty nice, pretty slick units. They're all Bluetooth, so I can pull up to them, access it by my cell phone, and program them how we want them to read. I can get the data off of them, all that stuff. And with the help of Secondary Roads, Dave agreed to have Jamie, the sign guy, put them up, and he did a wonderful job. Said it wasn't too bad a job.
You didn't charge her for it? Oh, okay, good job.
So there is speed data that you can draw off of that thing to see?
Yep, I can draw a whole year's worth off.
So those two areas were high
Yes,
You
from,
had
and we can
control.
do the same thing with that portable speed trailer we had. So, whenever we put that out, we usually come back and then download the data from it. And there are other problem areas here in the county, but unfortunately, I said they're $3,700 a piece, and, it's just gonna be a matter of getting one every now and then. And I know, Rita's talked about getting one, and Mike said, wanted us to order it for him. So we'll see, he hasn't got back to me yet.
Can you get personal vehicle data from it or not?
No,
Just-
no
just-
camera, or
camera.
anything like that. At least, not that we're telling anybody.
Just numbers.
Yep. So, we will get reimbursed for that, and also, we got chosen by the GTSB as a high five county, which is some program they have, and that's not a good thing. It means we qualify for being in the top 5 for accidents in the state. That did allow us to get $10,000 in grant money to be used for overtime purposes for the deputies coming out and working special projects and stuff. So we are gonna take advantage of that also.
So based on, obviously Polk County would have more than us, is it on a per capita basis type thing, or do you know?
They came and met with us. They keep all kinds of statistics. I mean, you name it. They gave us a whole printout of them. But we do have a lot of accidents, as everybody knows. We also have a lot of traffic, so.
Very interesting.
And that works the same way as the STEP program grant does. They'll submit the overtime, it'll be paid, and then we, in turn, submit the claim to them, and they reimburse us. So,
Well, thinking about this, Highway 30, for example, is very, very high traffic and it's only 2 lanes, so maybe that's something the coalition should bring into their argument.
I know they're looking at it.
Mhm.
It's been, they've done a lot of studies out there. There's a lot of traffic on that thing, especially between 7 and 8 and 4 to 6, so.
A lot of them on cell phones.
What was that?
A lot of them on cell phones, and that's a lot of the problem.
Cell phones, and it's just got a lot of traffic. And you get somebody trying to hustle,
Mhm.
not where the hell they're gonna go, because you can't go anywhere, but they try to pass.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, anything else?
Tomorrow, and I don't know if I'll be here or not, but Shive Hattery called. They're one of them that we sent a proposal to,
Mhm.
or we want a proposal from them, I guess. And they are coming here with 2 or 3 representatives to look around tomorrow, just and see our current facility, the courthouse, our site and all that stuff. I said I'd give them a tour. If I'm not here, I'll have Tom Franzen do it.
Time, do you know?
I
About
think,
approximately.
I think about 10,
Okay.
and their meeting is here. Kinda like when that Mike Wick came here from Prohaska
Yeah.
and did a look around the whole thing, very similar to that.
Do you want any of us there?
If you wanna be there, that's fine. Like I said, I was gonna get more into it, but with all this stuff going on right now. If a couple people from the committee wanna be there, Zach will be there, or at least be around. Like I said, Tom Franzen's working tomorrow, so.
I'll see
I
if
just kinda thought the last time when that
Actually, I don't
Mike came
think
here,
I-
I mean, we didn't, he looked at a few things, he didn't ask a whole lot of questions, just kinda looked around. Pretty much what it came down to. And I'll find out the exact time, I'll look at my calendar and I can send you a text, Neil, if you're on.
Just send me one too then. so-
Okay.
Because I think I'm free this week. so.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind just for a job interview on them. See how they perform.
Other than that, that's all I have, I believe. Anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Thanks, Ken.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
What do you do with your pinky there?
Missed a step coming down out of my garage this morning and tore my fingernail off.
Oh,
Try to have a better day.
yeah.
It can't get worse.
Never hear that.
Okay, Dave.
Good morning, Dave.
Morning, everybody.
Dave, thanks for coming in a little early and then not using you.
Well, he was already gone when I called, so.
Oh.
Oh, he was on his way.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought I was late. I looked at the o'clock on the phone, and I thought, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock, I gotta get
Yeah.
up.
Good stuff, that's great.
We only allow that once.
Utility permits, it's the first thing I've got on there. Got a lot of extra paper with me this morning for. We got 2 utility permits, say they're actually one. Just got different covers on it, I don't know how that happened, but Windstream is proposing to replace 1,210 feet of defective 25 by 24 cable along Olympic and boring a creek, and this is along Olympic up on 110th Street or north of 110th Street. There's a little creek there. Got a map in there, so even though these look like different permits, they just got an email cover sheet on them.
What township is that in?
Sheridan. I think it's 5 and 6, can you see that, Ian?
Between 4 and 5.
Sheridan 4 and 5. Why do they have 2 permits, you know?
I think it's just the way it got printed out.
Same permit.
Same permit, yeah.
Just
So
It's
it's
different.
So you only
Cover
actually
sheet on
have
each
one utility permit then?
In reality, we usually take 3 copies.
But I mean, do you have another utility permit?
No, I don't,
Oh.
only one, so, I see what you're saying,
Because it's the permits.
which I thought it was permits.
Oh, got it. I'm
discovering
not batting very good today, so I figured that was my fault too.
Yeah, me either.
Sometimes thinking gets you in trouble.
Say who's doing
Windstream.
Used to be that Higgins that would submit them all, do you know him, or?
it. Yeah.
Now they've got some different people.
Surprised there's anybody left. Think so.
I'll move
Yeah, don't get me started.
Yeah.
Surprised there's anybody left.
I'll move to approve the Windstream utility permit.
I'll second it.
Been moved and second to approve the utility permit with Windstream. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried.
Got a drain here that really was actually turned in by a couple of our employees who have continued to fix this drain in section 27 of Sheridan Township, straight north of Litterdale on Joe Daniels' ground. There's a 24-inch drain that goes through there, and every year it blows out 2 or 3 times. I'm sure you guys may even remember it. I've got a work order from 4/11 of 17 where it blowed out this year. It goes across the road or across Quail Avenue and outlets near a box culvert that also goes there and goes in a creek. And for some reason or another, there's always about that much water at the outlet end of this box. It's no doubt caused from some sediment in the creek that goes through Tracy Onken's ground, which is not really part of the drain per se. But as I understand it, the drain would be allowed to clean the outlet, to get good outlet from their facility, and then bill it back to their constituents.
Or downstream, what they need to clean. Is it
I
just-
think we have, it kind of runs into a pasture just beyond Tracy's here, so probably these 2, what are those, 20s, I would imagine?
So
Not
how
quite
long?
half a mile,
Half a mile?
yeah.
Dave, what would happen if, on the south side, if we put a relief well over in here in the road ditch here, instead of it blowing out, put a relief well in there to release the pressure so it's not blowing the tile line every time?
I don't know, that might help, Marty. It's really a big tile, the seams are the issue.
Mhm.
There's areas that have got a lot of cover on it that don't cause much trouble, and areas
You said it's how big a tile?
24 inch,
I mean, even if you put a 12-inch relief on it,
yeah.
that would do a lot for you.
Mhm.
Then we wouldn't have to go back and repair that tile line all the time.
Obviously, something has to be done there.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a continual thing.
It's basically.
Generally, I would almost bet that it's there now. Yeah, I'm not sure if it would see that.
Dream district
This-
is that.
This is kind of the same thought, but a different,
Mhm.
Steve called, it's got Joe's name there, but I believe Steve owns that now, doesn't he?
I sure could, yeah. That's
I believe that's, Steve does.
that's pretty.
Because basically all a relief is a intake coming out of the ground, and the water will shoot out of that.
Shoot out of there.
Before it blows the tile line.
Would you do that in lieu of doing this?
Well, you'd still have to repair that, but just to go put it right in the road ditch. And that way it blows it out, the water will blow out there, and if it goes in the road ditch, what's it gonna hurt?
Yeah, when it catches up, it'll all come back into that tile.
Right.
If there's enough rain that, the creek's full, because it's
Yeah.
a pretty good culvert.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be opposed to going and looking at it, going up there.
I'd look at it with you sometime if you want.
Uh,
But cleaning the creek out would solve the problem better, I think.
Yeah.
Then it would take it, more of it faster.
We could do that as a first step and see if,
Mhm.
I'm not sure if that's gonna take a couple of days with the excavator. I think we could do it with
Had an
our
open
excavator.
drain.
We could probably
Well, it's a
find
tile that
private
goes
guy to
into an
do
open
it.
drain, the outlet's in an open drain.
It's pretty level there, it'd be tough to
We think the outlet's what's causing the
tell
problem.
just by standing there how far down you'd have to go cleaning it out to make
The
it.
water appears to be running, there is general fall that
Good.
direction. It's, I think it's just more of a weed clean out. It's not a real big deepening of the flow line, because there's probably not a lot of fall. Paul surveyed it and found that there is general direction and fall in that direction, but there's something plugging it up.
Probably be similar to that one we did on 102 last fall.
Yeah,
Did-
yeah, that's a really good example.
Mhm.
I was skeptical whether it would do anything. There were a bunch
Yeah.
of weeds and, I don't even know what you would call that.
Weeds and canary grass and silt.
But just with a little digging, it dropped the flow maybe half a foot.
Yeah, yeah.
It's quite a surprise. And whether that'll be enough at the
Mhm.
outlet end to relieve it,
Mhm.
I'm not really
So,
certain.
so this outlet's probably not even visible right now.
It's becoming visible, yeah, and you can usually see through the water, and it's where it is,
See the
but
top
it
of it.
usually has, that much water over the top of a
Yeah,
24-inch
so
pipe.
that would make it back up, yeah.
And, so, that-
You said Paul surveyed, did he survey the tile, or did he survey the creek to get to the fall?
surveyed the creek, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would probably be a real smart first step.
Yeah.
You think, Marty, to survey the creek to see if there was even,
Well, even like that one we did last fall on 102, I mean, we just cleaned that out for probably, maybe 100 feet?
Mhm.
And that took a lot of the problem away there.
Yeah, yeah, this is one of them cases where there's fall, but it's not really exhibiting it. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just like what you were saying, Marty,
Yeah.
with Drain 102.
Yeah.
and if the lower water level gets lowered a little bit, it would sure help. With a forced outlet like that, it's not the area of water has absolutely no effect on the back pressure, it's the height of the water.
Yeah,
So when you reduce the height of the water, it would be a lot easier for the forced outlet.
yeah.
Yeah, because the open creek actually starts on the east side of Quail. And that just outlets on the east side.
Yeah.
Is where the outlet of that tile is.
And then it runs kind of into a pasture, once it gets out of Tracy's ground, it runs into
Mhm.
a pasture, I think, and
Yeah.
there's not much of an open ditch there.
Yeah, because that pastured the Slicemans, Craig Slicemans.
If you guys are game, we're willing to try it, I guess. I don't think we'll
Pasture?
spend too
Or
much
he
time
rents
in
it
there.
anyway, I don't know if he owns it.
Well, you probably,
sure
yeah, if you do it
Daniel has
yourself,
a
it's probably cheaper than having a
I'm not
contractor
sure, you might
do
be
it.
right. but
Probably, yeah.
Craig puts cattle in there, cows.
Probably is that.
Is that all crop ground along there?
Yeah, I think it's ready to go. I think we can.
Oh,
get in
it's
there.
crops off of it, right?
Either the
Yeah.
crops are off, or we've got enough room within the right of way of that ditch to where I think we can go.
Good.
You don't have to haul the dirt away, just spread it
No,
out.
Pile it on the
take it,
bank.
Put it on the bank.
Very good.
Spoil pile.
It's the
And
cheapest
it's
way to
not
go.
gonna be a huge quantity of dirt that we're gonna take out of there. It's gonna be like, again, that example that Marty gave on
Mhm.
Route 102,
Okay.
just kind of clearing the sod and the debris within the channel.
What
Yeah.
drain number is that up there?
Drain 33, section 27. Actually, the cleaning would be in section 26.
I'd make a motion to the effect of cleaning that out.
What
And
drain
then
number is that?
drain 33.
Section,
26 of Sheridan.
Not 27? It says 27.
That was where this
Oh,
one.
so it's 26.
The tile alley was.
And you're cleaning out the creek? or
Cleaning
Cleaning out the drain?
Cleaning out the creek.
The open creek.
Yeah.
So there's been
It
a
almost-
motion.
It almost looks like it might be part of it, because it's got this deal in here, so.
Do you have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all of the favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried.
Yeah, back in there, we were talking, I see Joe over that.
Yeah.
Hawkins on that, so
Yeah.
Craig McBash straight now.
What's the next thing I have here?
We got, well, on our agenda says road discussion.
That could be about anything, couldn't it? Manning Shoulders, south of Manning. I was down there the other day looking, and I drove back down to the south end again, drove north, and the road's not in the best of shape. I was kinda out looking at pavement and looking at candidates for micro surfacing and asphalt surfacing and whatnot. But the more I looked, the more I saw that road that we probably ought to shoulder that, and we probably ought to buy right away and do it upright, which is a different thought than what we had before.
Yeah, and I don't know how much they've been hauling out of there. I don't know how much of that's left.
Yeah, I talked to a local contractor who's done some shouldering for us, did north of Manning, gosh, what year was this, back in '89. We did that, we did those 2 miles north of Manning. There was roughly 52,000 yards of dirt on those two miles. We had, I think, 86 foot of right-of-way, and we went out to 110. This current road has 80 foot of right-of-way, and we probably need 110, and that'd be 55 on each side to do it. But there's a lot of places to where we couldn't shoulder if we did it with trucks, just because we don't have any right-of-way. And if you do it with scrapers, you open up the right-of-way where the scrapers can travel, you can get the dirt for about half price over what it runs with truck dirt. Say, truck dirt may run you $5 a yard to put it in, just due to the method of transportation and offloading and unloading, to where scraper dirt could run you half that. And back then, I think the dirt ran 85 cents. And I think, yeah, it did. Now, it probably run $2.50. To do it this way would be the right way to do it. And it would be quite a bit more expensive than what I put in the budget, but I don't believe we're going to spend much of our budget this year. We're just not going to have the stuff ready. You know, we've only got that one culvert in so far, and I'm not even sure we can get this ready to go in this fiscal year, but we'll have a balance to carry forward to do it. And it's,
What's the length of area that we want to do shouldering, how many miles or whatever?
Well, the city's got a portion of that at the north end. We'd have to talk to them. We'd probably be looking to Independence Road for sure, and it would probably be good to do that along the old airport and that stretch in there and talk with the city and how we would do that. But that would be my intent to do more or less the whole 3 miles, other than where there's development like the fire department and the hospital. In those areas, we wouldn't be doing anything unless,
Well, the hospital development wouldn't bother you. They're back off that.
yeah, and it's pretty slow traffic
What
there.
county road is that?
M66.
Birch Avenue?
Birch, yeah.
Is 60 what?
M66.
But the other thing, it's gonna take some time to do, you gotta do right away.
Yeah.
Acquisition, it's gonna take some time to put that together.
The whole thing's gonna take some time. There's gonna be considerable expense in right-of-way that, you know, we didn't look at back in 1989. That was, land was quite a bit cheaper than it is now. There could be 10 to 14 acres of right-of-way at whatever it would go at today, plus borrow would. Probably the job itself would be in a $300,000 range to $400,000 range. So a lot of that would be depend on how much we stuck in structures and whatnot. So to combine, we always budget right-of-way separately, but in the construction part anyway.
How's the culvert system good through there? If they're-
We've got a couple of new box culverts in there, so the bigger culverts are taken care of.
Are they wide, nice and wide?
They're wide, the dirt's already out on them, and they're ready to go. There'll be some little ones that probably won't be in good shape. We kinda had a habit of tagging on stuff with corrugated metal pipe years ago to save money, and it's kinda coming back and haunting us, but there's ways to deal with those too. There's, you know, other than maybe that Dedham overpass, which takes less traffic, I think this is up around 770. This is probably one of the projects that's been foremost on my mind to do. And I've just been kind of toying with it. How are we going to do it? There's not many earth jobs that go now, and we're fortunate enough to have a contractor in the county that bids on stuff like that to help control the prices.
So when you do that, if you're gonna extend that right away, would you have to have much power with it?
Probably, yeah.
You think you
Yeah.
would?
With what we get out of the right of way, there'll be areas where we need borrow, and we'll probably take borrow, just to get rid of some of the snow traps too, just to lay them back.
Go back.
We were talking, contractor and I were talking about, you know, the two methods. You can do a variable right of way and just cut the slopes, kind of like they did on Highway 71 and not do borrows, or you can do borrows and take what you need dirt out of there and kind of less cost and still accomplish the same goal and wind up with hopefully a cleaner job in the end. Yeah, it won't be an easy job, and may not be too popular with the landowners. I'm not sure what they're gonna think about selling the right of way.
Have we tested the water there yet with any of the landowners?
We haven't, we've done that in the past, and we usually get a negative test. And then when we actually go out and do it, it comes out okay. We probably need to commit to going through with the project if we were doing it, you know, which could mean a little controversy.
That's kind of strange. I just drove that road the other day, just for that same reason.
Isn't that something?
And, yeah, it
Yeah.
needs it.
I think I went up and down it 3 or 4 times, and I've just been struggling, because.
And would you make that wide enough so that when we do resurface that we'd widen the paving
Yes.
too?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 feet on both sides.
So you
We
would
put a
have,
10-foot shoulder on that Manning one, and I think that sounds like an awful lot, but by the time you resurface a little bit or go up, it just eats it up, wash and whatnot. So, and we were able to contain a 10-foot shoulder and the current top within that right of way, within that 110-foot right of way that we bought on that Manning, North Manning job. So this is similar terrain. Only there's basically 80-foot right of way there now instead of 86.
We had this discussion before about those shoulders. And wasn't there some dirt available?
There was.
Puck Enterprises,
Gene was talking about that.
down by
It's-
Puck.
It's truck dirt, and
Would be
so
Audubon
it
County dirt.
changes.
It would what?
Audubon County dirt.
Oh.
Might be better dirt, that might not be that bad in clay.
Carroll County dirt always sells for more than Audubon County dirt.
Um,
Could be cheaper.
it changes the perspective of the job if you make it a truck job or a
Okay.
scraper job.
That's what you're saying.
And if we make it, if we go ahead and bite the bullet and buy the right of way and make it a scraper job, we'll be able to get the dirt for, say, half price.
Sure.
And he's right, if we do a truck job, don't do anything with right of way, there's some of them places we're gonna be just like walls side of the road.
Yeah.
And they're right now. Am I right?
Yeah, and it's gonna have to be dealt with at some time, or just ignored there, you know, we could ignore it. But I think we ought to maybe give it a shot, see if we can go. Hopefully, we can put it together this winter and get it ready to be a local renting. You know, it would be certainly within our financial capabilities to do that.
And the funds will come from?
Funds will come from our local budget, our road use tax money, you know, our $3 million plus of road use tax money and our $2 million plus of property tax money that we get. That's
Couldn't
predominant.
you use farm market too?
Could use farm to market, but that fund's in heavy demand too.
Oh, okay.
And we're gonna go negative in that a couple of years to where we're sitting okay locally with funds.
We're gonna run into the same thing in Olympic in time, and that's gonna be the costly one.
Well,
Yeah.
he's tried this a couple times.
It's a lot longer, isn't it, Marty?
Yep.
We've gotten resistance from the property owners there.
Olympic, you know, there's a couple miles that's pretty bad on Olympic, I don't wanna say, but in all said, it's not really all that horrible. It's not as bad as this, that's for sure. This has got some, you know, 2-foot shoulders on it,
Mhm.
3-foot shoulders, and some pretty steep.
It's big banks.
Mhm.
I don't know why anybody would wanna do something like this, but at any rate.
Well, and you're right, sometimes you gotta bite the bullet. I mean,
Yeah, it's just-
if we're gonna look at paving that thing and widen it, that right now will not sustain that extra width.
Mhm. Just
You'd
even
have
putting
nothing
asphalt.
out there. I don't think you'd even get that extra 4 feet on a lot of places.
No, you'd be lucky to get a couple foot on each side, and then you'd be right at the edge of the shoulder.
So just a hair over 3 miles?
Yeah, and
Three,
Well,
4?
We've got the city in there, so.
Probably gonna be less.
it's
Yeah,
less
I
than
just
3
was
miles.
looking at it.
look at how much
Yeah.
city's got there. They got about 3/4 of it on one side.
Yeah.
And the hospital's got a quarter on the side. And these 3 properties got all the same last name, so that'd be a big,
That'll be a big help.
yeah, you're working with less people anyhow,
Yeah.
and there's, the way it looks, 2, maybe about 3 acreages along there, that'll be a problem to work around them, obviously.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you don't want to run an acreage.
Usually have to compromise there, but,
But I think that there's a
And
a tone down there that they wanna get that thing.
I think
done.
there is too, Jim,
I
yeah.
mean, from what I've gotten from,
It's probably a good thing for the general public, but you might run into some resistance from
Yeah.
landowners.
I'm just saying, most places you go for 3 miles, you'd have a lot more people to work with than you would here, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but it's not real bad anyway. You get that close to some towns, a lot of this ground is really broke up into a lot of
Sure.
acreages and things, and we don't have that situation here yet.
Yeah, it's, you know, except for right up by town there, it's pretty rural after that.
Yes.
and actually, my town is probably the better part of it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't feel bad about not doing a whole lot to that area there. That's of a totally different character that out by town, yeah.
Have you talked to the city of Manning, and what would their participation be?
No, I haven't. That'll be one of the steps, that's for sure.
I could talk to Harvey sometime. I got landfill board meeting, but I know he's not gonna be there tomorrow, but I can touch base with him.
Guess I'm asking for your go-ahead just to proceed ahead.
Yeah, then you could talk to Harvey too.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
gonna
All
be
right.
in town tomorrow.
Let's pretend that we're landowners there, one of us is. How do you approach a landowner, Steve?
Well, we have to pay them fair market value for the property, even though we're taking an easement. And we think we have to do a study of comparable properties down there.
It's still pretty good down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the strip acquisition, they say we can go to $10,000 just with a simple appraisal. And I don't know if they break that down in 40 acre, that's what the DOT says anyway with their
$10,000 or $10,000 per acre.
$10,000 total, yeah, total.
How much of an acre do you take on a half section, one side? 10 foot, I guess I can calculate that out.
Yeah, 52,000 square feet.
What, one acre? 8
Two
acres,
tenths.
43,560.
So yeah, it'd be a little over an acre.
Even more than that. How many feet do you think you'd take? 15?
Yeah.
Dave, did we rebuild the fence?
Do
2.5 acres.
How much?
I got 2.5 acres.
Sounds right.
That's per one side for 10 feet?
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
couldn't get that for $10,000.
No, you might be able to get 1.25 for 10, but that's pushing it too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let me think, I did that that's on a half mile, I did that.
2680.
Let's check me on that. I took half of 5,280 feet, which is half mile, multiplied by 10 foot, which is how many feet we'd be taking, divided by 43,560, which is the square feet in acres, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
You got 2.47.
2680.
Okay, you did what now?
Half mile.
Yeah, so
Should
that,
not my calculator.
Okay, start out, I know there's 5,280 feet in a mile, so I took half of that, which was
Yeah.
2,640. I multiplied that by 10 feet, so I got.
oh, you were talking 15 though, weren't you?
Yeah.
10.
Oh, okay.
15
Okay.
feet.
215 times 26.
Divided
We're
by
taking 50 feet off each
43,560.
side.
Isn't that like an acre? That's
Be
an
just
acre.
shy of an acre.
15.
Just shy of an acre.
Just shy of an acre.
39,600, so be shy of an acre.
It's 0.99, 0.91
In a half mile.
acre.
Yeah,
Yeah, that should catch us.
yeah,
0.91 acre.
yeah, yep. So be just a little.
We might be
shy
a
of
little
an
bit
acre.
over, but I don't think we need to worry about that with,
Comes out to 39,600. Divide that by 43,560, it'd be 0.9 acres.
when we did Noble, next to town here, we had some unusual circumstances.
It would
High
be,
value
on the whole
property.
project, probably about 10 acres.
Yes, yeah,
About 11, actually.
yeah. We,
So you got 3 miles.
a person might even be able to go down to a 40 acre parcel as far as the
Yeah,
division of
about
that.
10, 12 acres roughly.
I got 10.9.
Yeah.
And we're allowed 10,000?
Mm, With a certain appraisal process, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's.
You'd probably get,
We used to do our figuring by CSR. We would take the average CSR and we'd figure out how many dollars per CSR per acre that you would have, and that's how we would equate our land sale price. We do that every year. We used to buy so much right of way that we would do that very frequently. And we do the multiple, and that's how we come up with the price, which is a valid way of doing it, using comparable sales in the neck of the woods.
did you guys ever do any of the design work on it, with doing it with the truck? That time we talked about it?
We did,
So this would be a whole totally different design than probably.
whole totally different design, yeah. It's not too bad to survey. once the crops come out, we'll be able to get out into the fields and in the borrows and the GPS with a minimum amount of shots. We create a terrain model.
What did I do wrong here, buddy? Half mile. That's 50 feet.
15 feet, 15.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Here's where you're coming up with more.
15 feet off each side.
So, yeah, then it'd be about a
80
third of what
total
you got there.
width,
Okay.
Side to side,
Yeah.
fence to fence, to 110.
Okay,
That's where you're coming out with.
there we go.
Culverts, in-field culverts, all those are gonna be
They'll all be
destroyed.
brand new, yeah.
All brand new.
Yeah. Irritate a lot of utilities down there.
Yep, you're gonna widen them out. I assume these
Yeah.
Field entrances be a
Right.
little wider
Save your own
for
numbers.
access
Mhm.
for the bigger machinery, so you might actually be helping them. You can help sell it
Yeah.
that way a little bit.
That might be where you can sell the landlords, because some of them need probably wider driveways for the bigger
Mhm.
equipment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're gonna have to come up with a way that we're gonna pay for this. We could hire an appraiser, which we've done in the past, but this is not a complex acquisition. I mean, we're not taking anybody's house.
Yeah.
Or ruining their yard, or ruining their farm so they can't sell it again for what it's worth. It's just a simple strip acquisition. And a strip acquisition can be done by someone like me. I can be the appraiser, and I can also be the negotiator. Though the board is gonna have to give me permission to the method we use to treat people equitably.
Hmm.
And we'll have to visit that before I go out and buy right away.
Isn't anything about the money down there, is there? Oh, water flow money.
I don't think so.
I don't believe it.
You gotta get south of town for that.
The
That
city
would be
man,
an
we need to
indication
treat them with
about
any
that, wouldn't it?
difference than any
Yeah.
other landowner.
Yeah.
in this
We ain't gonna get it, we ain't gonna get a dime for helping doing that. I think.
Maybe we get donation from them. That'd be,
Is there anything that you need to, you're kind of testing the water here with us, obviously. Is there anything else, any key things we need to check out, maybe the city manning, before we should give ourselves the green light to go ahead?
no, I think if they don't wanna go, we'll go 2 miles. We'll go to the court line. We gotta take care of our problem.
Okay.
And if they want theirs taken care of along with us,
They'll need to participate.
they'll need to participate, yeah.
Fair enough.
It'll all kinda come together. I
Um,
mean, it's a process, that's for sure.
As you drove that road, I've been down there a while, those acreages along there, they have long driveways, short driveways? Are the buildings close to the road?
Oh, yeah.
That's
They have some of that, but. I-
Mixture, but most of it's.
It's not real bad, is it?
No, most of it's
No.
set back pretty good.
Okay, they have a good setback then. That's
Yeah, I
important.
think, I can only think of one that might be.
I could think if somebody's close to the road, they had a whole line of trees or
Yeah.
something.
No, I
Take
don't
out
think
somebody's
there'd be
big
trees.
creek or something like that, yeah.
I don't think there'd be any problem with trees. But
Okay.
Not that they wanna.
Windbreak's a big deal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dave, are we due to go on a road trip?
Sure. I think that'd be a great idea.
You got other stuff you can show us?
Just do
Come
it.
up with some ideas, maybe go down and take a look
Could,
at that.
yeah. But just go down there
Yeah.
and look at that and get a feel for it, because I think once you see it, you'll agree that
Understand it a
something
little
needs to
better.
be done, then we can talk about how we'll handle it.
It's
We can
been
also look at that.
Probably 15 years since I've been down that road. Probably at least that.
So
15.
Dave, how soon after you graded that shoulders and stuff, would you look at putting asphalt on
Pretty darn soon, too. Yeah. I think it was last done in '93, and it's
It's-
not in real good shape, and it's showing some distress in some areas that might require patching here in the upcoming
it?
years.
Is there a definite difference between when you hit the county line?
Yeah.
And I don't like it.
And this one,
Is there better?
doesn't have the structure underneath it.
Oh.
You know, it doesn't have the thickness that many of the other ones do, just primarily because it's been neglected resurfacing wise, because there's no place to go. It's so narrow. And when you go up, you gotta go out a little bit.
I like Dean's idea of a road trip. This is sounds like a really good project, Dave, but it involves a lot of people and a lot of money, and I just, I'd like to have a better forum than just a 30-minute conversation
Me
at the
too.
boardroom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd want you all behind it, you know, because we may have to commit, we may have to, you know, we've done quite a few of these over the years. It's been a while since we've done them, and we've had some that we've had to condemn on. And condemnation is never.
Yeah, and that's no winners there.
Yeah.
That's never pleasant for anybody.
That's not fun.
So we'd hopefully do all we could to do
But I think
that.
there is pretty good public sentiment to get something done. down there.
I think there is too, yeah.
I mean, I've heard that from some other people down there, so. We talked about doing that, hauling that gravel, dirt from Pucks. And I agree with you, if we did that, we're gonna have, there's some places there's gonna be just a wall there, because you ain't got no right of way.
We wouldn't be done yet. We'd have to revisit it.
I-
Get right away, yeah.
I agree with that. I think it'd be good to take these guys down there and show it to
Yeah.
them.
When do you want to do it, Rachel?
Oh, boy.
We have one thing on the agenda next week, so. We'll get it on there so we don't get,
Okay. I don't
you know,
think,
just let me know when it's gonna work and.
we're maybe gonna go up to Wisconsin for a few days, and I'm not sure if we're gonna do it next week or not. Depends upon what the leaves are looking like.
Do you want to just
They're
let
there
me know
now.
and I can.
Are they?
Yeah.
Check with the boss.
Yeah, what?
That's.
They're there
Get
now.
the green light.
Okay. Yeah, and then we can take a ride in our blue van, which up front, the heating and air conditioning works very good, so I'd.
Up front.
The next 2 Mondays are free.
So we don't want to push this off to winter, right? Is that what you're saying?
That's probably right, yeah.
Remember what I told you about that milk house heater and that inverter?
What's that?
Big
23rd 's no
alternator.
good. That Monday's no good. I'm leaving shortly after the meeting, so.
Which Monday's no good?
The 23rd is no good.
23rd.
Well, we could schedule a special meeting too. You know, it doesn't have to be.
It's not gonna take just too long to get down there and back, but we'll blow a couple hours, I suspect.
So if you
And
want.
I- yeah,
We've got some other similar, you know, we can go, Torcell and
I've been needing pressure in town again.
Manning, Templeton.
That road there's gonna.
Oh,
have to have
yeah.
some- Which one's that? The one on the north side there, that's starting. And then after this fall, it really looked tough again.
In town or west?
Well, I'm just thinking on the 19th is the roundtable meeting down in Templeton. Is everybody
Oh, yeah.
getting together for that? I mean, we
Yeah.
could do that prior to that. I mean, we could meet here and then go down and come back here. I mean, at least you're not breaking, you know. But I guess what I'm saying is, I'm gonna go to that anyway, so if I just prepare 2 hours ahead of time for it, you know, and do that, how does that sound? And it's just a suggestion, but.
I scheduled
You know, I'd-
on weather.
That'd be a
I
good
have no
idea, that
problem
we can
with
just leave
that.
our vehicles set right
Would
there.
you have
Dave
problems
just
with
pick
the
us up.
roundtable?
Yeah, we could do that.
Right there at the Templeton.
Right
Has
there
there
at
been one?
Templeton.
Oh,
I think she plans on going this time.
I think I did go to one at Templeton once.
I didn't say I was going
Huh?
to.
Stuck in it. Show up in that.
I've been on that road.
You know exactly what we're
I know
talking
exactly where he's talking about.
Okay.
But yeah, it was funny, I'm going around.
You know, and that would work.
Just, we could go down to Templeton and then meet Dave down there, go down to Manning, and then come back.
Maybe
to
we can leave all our
Templeton.
vehicles there and go down to Manning and look at that, and you can drop us off on the way back.
Yeah.
Well, he can go to roundtable if he wants to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't want to, then you can blow it off.
Probably.
Is that on the 19th, you said?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it starts at 5:15, I
Yeah,
have.
5:30, 5:15.
Yeah.
So how long do you want? A couple hours or an hour?
We're just going from there. If we go from here, we get some shouldering projects probably on the way down, and some other ones. I'm not sure about my plans yet.
On the
I'll be
19th?
around, yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, if that works, that'd be great. If it doesn't, you know, we'll have to.
I'm open either Monday or Thursday, so.
Why don't you, when you get your plans, let us know, or let Courtney know, we can
Yeah.
set something
Can
up.
go from
there.
And if we do it on the 19th, I'd probably just meet you at 10.
Yeah, we'll have a meeting in between then. you know, we can discuss that on Monday too.
Yeah, and if you're around Monday, we can go do it Monday,
This coming Monday.
if you're gonna be around.
Yeah, we can today. You thought you might be in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we do it on the 19th, we'd be all together, we'd have to post that as a public meeting.
Yeah.
Not a
And I
problem.
get to go, I guess.
You wouldn't have to go, would you?
Yeah, if somebody's gonna take minutes.
So do you go on all the road trips?
Otherwise, you wouldn't have to go with you. We can go out and ride around, can't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody needs to take
Yeah, but
minutes
we're
either,
posting it as a public meeting.
but we need to post it public. I know we need to post it as, because we'll
Yeah.
get together. I think so. It's a little bit different than if we all go to the state conference.
Okay.
Unless-
So it's a little different if, if we leave from here and jump in the van. You don't go
No,
along
it's
with
different
us.
if you post it. You know, because when you guys leave here after the meeting,
I
it says
think
in the minutes
regardless
that you
what we
proceeded to
do,
go on your tour.
we
Okay.
post
If you did
it.
it on a day, not a meeting day,
Keep
it would need
ourselves
to be
clean.
posted. I would think you could have the
Hopefully.
minutes simply
Mhm.
say, at such and such a time, the board proceeded on a road tour, and that could be your minutes. But it would
Yeah.
you'd have to have something in writing.
Right.
And it's not like you guys are gonna be making,
Is that or Rich and I
decisions
stand on
No.
one side of
on
the
the
road,
tour
two on the
anyway,
other side of the
so.
road, one down the road?
I just wanna stand on the railroad tracks.
No, you can't do that.
Well, whatever
Don't
works.
Don't stand on those tracks.
I'm gonna stand right in the middle of the next day.
If that one train comes, it might hit you.
I know. I'll be turned dodging.
Okay, let us know on a time that works, Dave, and then I'll go from there.
Yeah, I appreciate your interest. That's a really good idea. Oh, let's see here. I've got a lot of other non-decision. Am I okay time-wise?
Yeah.
we've got about 10 minutes.
Should be hopefully enough there. Did I get enough to go down?
There we go.
This is page 3 out of our equipment inventory list. And kind of, unit 54, 56, 57, and 58 are our loaders. And in red, the approximate hours are written above them. 7503, 8496 for that 950, 6730 for this 50G, and 8,000 plus for the John Deere. Again, going down the line, 54 is a
Where do you
1996
see the hours at?
I don't see them.
Mine's right here.
real
Oh,
That's real
I
light,
see,
light
I
red.
see. You got a
Real
screen
light red.
print, very
penciled
good.
in, okay.
Oh, there. Jeez.
I have your glasses on to see it. Can you
Or
see
off.
them now?
Yeah, I
Or-
see them now after they
or
pointed them
off,
out.
yeah. They're all in that 8,000 hour range, more or less. Some are pretty old, like the John Deere, it's out of Beckstrom's right now, getting a new transmission. I think that might be the 3rd transmission we put in it. But it's a good old loader, and we certainly would have no plans to part with it soon here, especially after fixing the transmission. The 928F, the top one, number 54, was 7,500. That's kind of a small loader. We bought it and the 950F, both in 1996. They were both airport machines and had some hours on them, and we got a pretty good price at the time. That's why we bought them. What's that make them? Roughly 21 years old. And 57, our newest loader, it's the one that gets the most use. It's just had its transmission rebuilt, and it has 6,700 hours on it. The 950F, or number 56, has had its engine replaced. So I'm saying that to say that they're all in fairly good shape. They're kind of old, they're kind of rusty. Our newest and most used one is number 58. That's the one that we'll load sand and salt with. We'll clean off the parking lot. It's the one that stays in Carroll to load any stockpiles that might be in Carroll. run around here, so, and it's the one that, if we get really bad snow, we send it out along with the other 950 to clear drifts, and even that John Deere, the 928, the little one, the number 54, is kind of useless for any heavy snow removal because just of its size. We've got 4 of them, which is nice. We've got, I think, 7 stockpile places that we can leave a loader, including Carroll, so during the summer months, we're not continually shuttling the loader around. We've got these older loaders we can leave in those spots. In the wintertime, we've got 4 spots that use a loader, or could use a loader, but in Breda, we've been using the city's loader to load us there. We just supply them salt and sand. Coon Rapids, we keep that 928 down there in the winter, and we keep the John Deere over at Glidden, that property we acquired over there with a horse trade with the shed. You remember that. Carroll, we keep the 950, the good one here, the G, the newest one. That's that 2004 one. And the 950F, it'll shuttle back between here and a stockpile, if we're a winter stockpile, not one of our stockpiles.
And where do you put the 928F?
The 920F.
Arcadia? Is that what you said?
That'll go to Coon Rapids in the
Okay.
winter. We used to keep one up at Breda. We probably could yet. We've got a space in there in the shed for Breda for the truck. Usually if something bad's coming, we'll fill the truck up and let it sit in the shed there at Breda. And then for its refill, its next refill, it'll come to Carroll to do that.
So what down on that number 75, what is that then?
That is an old 50 horsepower John Deere utility tractor.
Oh, it's a utility tractor, okay.
And then number 80, our backhoe, could also serve as a loader tractor, but it's pretty small, bucket-wise. The really useful ones are 56, 57, and 58. Those are all what they used to call 3-yard loaders. Those buckets on them now has grown. But that 928 is probably a 1.5 yard loader, and that 401C and the Bobcat they're probably in that neck of the woods too, or a little bit less. I asked the Caterpillar salesman for a budget price, and he gave me more than I, he gave me the discounted price anyway. Anyway, that's what a new loader, the list on it is. It's got some equipment in it we wouldn't use. At least we're pretty sure at this point we wouldn't use, and there's about $21,140 worth of that equipment. That's shown in the middle of the page with the arrow drawn to it. 60-inch material forks. We've got material forks for our Bobcat and for our backhoe loader. They're not as powerful as these, but I don't think, we wouldn't have enough use to spend that kind of money for them. Also a scale and a printer. They're also built into this price quote for that $21,140. There's also, if you look down just a little bit, there's a premier warranty. Can you see that $7,370 for the 60-month, $2,500 warranty? I took that off of the already lowered price from the options we're not going to use to show a value of $246,000 for a comparable price with used equipment that they've got coming off the airport from Minneapolis. They've got a number of machines coming off the airport. That's where we bought ours before, because at that time they used to rent them to the airport and they would take the rent off. This time they're leasing them and they're just pricing them on a lower value, and it's not really very good. $246 for a new grader with warranty, or with a year warranty on it versus $249 for one with 179 hours at the airport.
Doesn't take much to figure that one out.
Yeah.
And what were the reduction, what were the options again on the 21,140?
Those are the ones right here in the middle of the page, 60-inch
Okay.
forks, scale.
That would come off then.
That would come on.
Okay.
Actually, the scale software is on there.
So
can
if
have
you
it
ever
for-
wanted to add it, you could.
You could, yeah.
Okay.
For 250 hours, it'll be on there for free to entice you to buy it, and then they'll shut it off. Scale's pretty handy for contractor, pretty handy for, if you're gonna be loading contract trucks. We pretty well get it down to, this truck takes 2 buckets, and this truck takes 3 buckets, and just pretty well.
So what do you plan on doing, Dave? You plan on replacing one of these other ones, or you plan on buying, or, you know, what's the need here, I guess?
Buying straight out, less this equipment, would keep the warranty in at $73.70. So buy straight out and keep the loaders that we've got. All the ones that we've got have had work done to them, they're in pretty decent shape. And it's really useful not to have to shuttle a loader around. If you want to go haul gravel, say it's a rainy day, a perfect day to go haul gravel, you like to a lot of times haul maybe 2 or 3 places. And it's nice to have the loaders fixed there. They don't get a whole lot of hours unless we get a bad winter. And I guess they're worth more to us here than they are what they're going to get for us in trade.
So do we feel the pressure of being short a loader?
No. No, I don't. I think if we had a breakdown of our key loader, we could feel the pressure. And then if that second 950 would let go of the one that's got the new engine, we would. They're both up there, just, got a fair amount of miles on them. This, if we would get one, it would become the main loader.
How long does it take to move one? Say if you got one at the certain pit, you wanna move to the other, different location, just loading it up.
Depends on where your truck is, and, just a particular situation. If you were all ready with the low boy and get it on there, like probably 2 hours on the minimum side, maybe half a day on the maximum side. Or you can just road it down the road.
7 stockpiles, is that what you said?
Yes. Finley, Reinhardt, Toyne, Sparks, Templeton, Rolay, Carroll, Arcadia. That would be justification for keeping the ones. And I started out looking for a budget number, got more than a budget number.
What do you mean you started out as looking for a budget number?
I wanted a number, well, it's gonna be approximately $300,000 to see just where we would be, how we would prioritize, if we would buy one of these, because, what are gonna be the consequences, like you said, of laying off a year, probably nothing unless we have a failure on our main loader. And say we'd have a failure on the main loader in a bad winter, that could be kind of tough. We really count on these loaders if we get a bad winter for moving snow, especially those 2 bigger ones. And they're just getting old. Whether now is the right time to purchase it or not, I'd be okay with you guys that say no.
Well, that's kind of what I'm leaning on. I guess if there's no
Yeah.
pressure on getting one, and that's why I asked you what you meant by budget number.
Yeah.
You're not actually looking to buy one at this point in time.
Started off that way.
Kind of started off that way. At some point, we're gonna have to buy it.
Yeah, at some point in time.
And How much longer we should go is the question, you know, because if we just let it go, there could be a price to pay.
Sure.
But as far as feeling an urgent need to buy it, do you have that barrier? I don't.
So is this the only good thing for these, the only place to get these used ones is through the airport, or is there some other places? I mean, that sounds like they're not discounting them at all.
No, well.
Well, then you might
and
as well get a
I
new
think
one.
those airport ones, we probably could negotiate, there's probably room for negotiating on that. We probably could get a discount off of that, just like we probably could off this list figure there. But there's, I think, $60,000 or $70,000 worth of governmental discount in these new ones. It makes it hard to buy a good used one.
It's almost like buying
Sure.
a pickup.
Yeah, it's just.
Can't afford to buy a used one for what they charge for a used one versus the new ones at discounts.
At some point, we should probably, our trucks, we've got some 2012s and some 2017s. We've got a five-year jump in between them. We've got two, but we do have some trucks with some pretty low miles, but we've got a lot of trucks with pretty high miles too. And whether that should be a priority over replacement.
Well, your newest one is 13 years old, which is, for some pieces of equipment, is probably pretty old. But I mean, for a loader, they just hang in there and keep on working.
Yeah.
And, you got 30 years on your oldest one.
Yeah.
But you're still working, you're still using them.
The only thing is, it's had 2 engines and 3 transmissions.
Yeah.
And while they're doing that, it's been out at the repair shop now for quite a few
Quite a while.
days. So
Yeah.
if this
They're not
happens
using-
in the winter, when you're
Sure.
using it, that's the only place I'm coming from. And I'm not
Sure.
coming for it with a real hardcore, like you have to have life insurance because you're gonna die sort of thing. Because I'm kind of with you.
I understand what you're saying too.
When
You know.
when is going to be the right time to replace that loader, that one that's 13 years old? To take it out from being the main horse in the
Main,
state,
yeah.
to bring in another one that'll get relatively hard use.
What is the availability? If you decide 6 months, a year from now, hey, let's buy one, how
Should-
fast could you get one?
It shouldn't be a problem.
Availability's not a problem. But that's good to know. Some
Yeah.
items equipment you get, and there's no, like certain items like trucks, it takes a long time to fit them.
Not only get to fit.
Get 'em into
get
service.
them ready.
They
Yeah.
come ready to use pretty well.
Yes,
You don't have to order them. I know John Deere, when they build tractors, they've got them sold.
yeah.
This isn't that case.
They've usually got some built ahead to fill their stock, and they kind of order a stock configuration.
Do I get the kind of the feeling that these guys want to just use it as a budgetary figure for now?
Well,
That's how
yeah,
I'd like to
that's
look
how
at
I
it.
would look at it,
Yeah.
At some point in time, we're probably gonna have to.
At some point in time,
Gonna
if
have
you're
to do
gonna
something.
allocate so much money each year to replace
Equipment.
old equipment, so
Mhm.
you don't have a big, huge amount in one year.
Right.
Which is never, you kind of have to keep up with it. And, because it does wear out. These new electronic things, I just assume have an older one, actually, because they're really costing us a lot of money, the repairs on them.
You say that again, you'd sooner have an older one?
I'd as sooner have an older configuration in good shape with low hours on it.
So you didn't have to deal with computerized?
Yeah,
Can you find anything?
you can't find any. Everybody else thinks the same way.
Yeah.
The cat guy told me they had 3 just next size bigger loaders in here that came from China. They let them have 3 of them that were tier 3 that didn't have all this stuff on. And but we'd have to buy the next size bigger. We can't justify doing that. But isn't it interesting that they let them have a few?
Well, I'd say use it as a budgetary method, and I would keep my eyes open if you see some deal come up that maybe like an old one that does low hours, get on it.
Yeah, if there is a good deal out there that could be had.
Yeah, well, our mainstay one is pretty good, and we haven't, other than the transmission, we haven't done too much to it, but we're hoping it stays good for a few more years, but I don't think it'll be too much longer. We'll be looking at replacing that, because if that keeps going at $500 a year, it's not gonna be that long, it's gonna have quite a few hours on it.
Mhm.
And if Caterpillar's got a rebuild that they took in, the Caterpillar be Leary. We had that one out at the landfill and there, we did do that, and it was just nothing but a lemon when we got it back. I think they just put new paint on it and walked away.
Still got time.
It's 10 after.
I gotta go.
Well,
They had kids
you got
out.
something more?
It's not up to me.
Hmm.
It's up to Gene.
There's nobody here for that public hearing. Go ahead and finish up. If there's somebody here, I'd
Is
say,
anybody sleeping yet?
no.
Just
You buy
checking.
expensive toys.
I know.
Christmas is coming, Santa Claus, do you believe in him?
No.
There's one thing about when Dave comes, it's not nickel and dime crap.
Take that welcome mat and throw it outside. I'm done. You
got one?
yours. Oh, I got 2 now. I guess I do
Oh.
have 2. They were stuck.
I think I made 7, so there should be enough
There it is.
for everybody. This draft of this letter that Becky composed for me so nicely, it really kind of tell you what I like.
Here's what I'm gonna do. You guys can discuss.
Yeah, I understand, Gene. So what you want to do basically is just have the, be reimbursed for his county, the county being reimbursed for his wages for when he's doing the commissioner work.
Yeah, it's a little more complicated than that. Right now, we've got him as temporary seasonal or regular. He's really kind of graduated into regular part-time on page 2 here in the handbook. He's earned $24,000 so far this year through 10/13/17, which I don't think would have I probably wouldn't have that on paycheck, would it?
No.
No. At any rate, we're using him pretty near like his free time. He's been cutting brush, killing weeds, and been a real valuable employee. And I'd like to take him from a regular part-time employee to a full-time employee. That would be an employee with benefits. But then at the same time, he's also the weed commissioner, and he gets a lump sum payment for that, more or less, as salary. I'd like to take that away and just pay him by the hour to be weed commissioner. If he spends an hour being weed commissioner, however he does it, straight time or overtime, we would take the reimbursement for that. We would spend, I think it's $4,200 a year we spend as a lump sum right now for the weed commissioner salary. So we'd save a little bit of money, probably maybe $3,500 to $3,800 we'd save on the weed commissioner end of it. But at the same time, we'd become a full-time employee with benefits. that's kind of in a nutshell. He'd be very handy to have around full-time. He's an excellent employee. We're just real pleased with him. He's been doing a great job on the brush and the weeds.
Are we required by code to have a weed commissioner?
Yes.
Because then where do we go with this? If he's a full-time employee, can he be a weed commissioner at the same time?
He can, I think. The Greene County engineer is the weed commissioner there, so
Or we could make Dave weed commissioner.
but I don't know a dandelion from
I bet you better get a book out.
Sourdough.
There's some learning to be done.
There'd be a lot of learning. You'd have to train him already.
Oh, I could do that, Dave.
I think, can't they make board meeting members weed commissioner?
My concern is he's already working mainly 40 hours a week now,
Yeah.
you know, so we're requesting full-time work from him, but yet we're not considering him a full-time employee, so.
Yeah.
Backlash.
I think we're on slippery ground there.
Mhm.
So if we were to go back 5 years, Earl was the weed commissioner, correct?
Yeah.
And Norb was the,
Oh, that might have been Ryan or Gopher back then. We've
okay.
been through.
You've been through a
Norb,
few.
Ryan
okay.
and Gopher.
But I'm just saying, you know, I mean, Norb is not a full-time employee though. He was a regular.
No, he was a regular road employee. Norb was.
He was?
Yes.
Mhm.
He was
Yeah.
classified just like this
Oh, okay.
proposal. He was
Okay, so
classified
there's-
as operator 2 when he was here. Same way with Gopher, and Ryan had a whole other.
So he is a full-time employee now?
No.
He's not?
No.
We're treating him like his full-time employee except with his pay and benefits. We're treating him like a part-time employee. And I'd like to make him.
So it
full-time
would be
employee.
similar to what we had before, except that he is also going to be the weed commissioner.
Yes.
It's my understanding that Rhodes is gonna pay his salary, whatever that says, 43,222, and then at the end of the year, Dave will give us a bill saying he had this many hours
For weed
for weed
commissioner.
commission, and then the rural fund that pays the weed commissioner, the rural fund will reimburse Rhodes, because Rhodes had paid that part of his salary. So, rather than be doing it every paycheck like we are
Yeah.
now, it's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, so it's really all the same stuff we're talking.
It kind of is, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's, in essence, there's some savings to the weed fund, but on the other hand, there's going to be cost on the benefits and the increased salary. But there's also, he is working like a full-time employee, and we're not treating him like.
So this is, we're adding actually though a full-time employee?
We would be adding, we're actually just a part of him when you get right down to it, because we're paying him right now a portion of that, but we'd be adding those benefits and some dollars. That would take us to 32 people, which is not an unusual amount for us to have.
So we've been there
33 or
before.
34, we've been there before. We have a fellow retiring, it'll probably take us to 31. We just lost 2 people.
Right.
And two, Mike and Jack. You know, granted, one was out of the office, so.
And you haven't really replaced those, and we're not going to.
Haven't replaced those, and we're not going to, so we're not pumping up the department as far as a lot of employees.
How does this work? What does he generally do right now, or what would he be doing as a full-time employee for you?
Mostly weeds in the summer, brush in the winter, snowplow, and
He won't get too many calls in the winter, so let's say in the summer he's working brush and his phone rings, his personal phone, he's gotta take it, and it's a weed complaint.
mhm.
What does he do at that point if somebody wants to show him some weeds?
He can go look at the weeds right then. He can make an appointment to look at the weeds after he gets done spraying his weeds, doing his duty. He's gonna be flexible to do that. You know, right on his time sheet that he spent 5 hours spraying weeds and 2 hours looking at weeds, he was weed commissioner. And so we'll log that, and then we'll bill the weed fund for those times spent.
Changes the weed commissioner a little bit. Before it was on a set dollar amount.
Mhm.
Now it'd be a flexible amount, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And it's, but it would always be counteracted by his other salary, right?
Right.
Okay.
And you'd
it
get
won't be
real-
as much. You know, he may have 25, 30 hours at this rate per hour. You know, he may have $500, $600 worth of weed activity based on what he did this year, the complaints that he had. So should be able to save a little bit of money.
I just don't know if it would cause a problem, you know, with having two bosses, one of these deals where you're working two jobs at one time, you know, working for the public per se as weed commissioner and working for you as a county employee. I just, it'd be a little bit of a balancing act.
Mhm.
Depends what you have him doing full-time too. Obviously, if he's driving a gravel truck, you can't just pull off the side road or take it to look at weeds.
No.
I can see where it's gonna be give and take somewhere. I don't know if it's gonna give and it's gonna take.
He could go on his after hours, and more than likely, he's gonna have to work flex time when he sprays weeds, because there's times early in the morning that it's good for spraying weeds, and then it gets bad, and then there's times in the afternoon, and he's willing to do that, and I've seen him do it now for 2 years. He's proved himself that he will work when he needs to work, and he won't work when he doesn't work.
But it's understood by him and you both that if this deal goes down, that he would be a full-time employee, and he would be expected to be there on a regular basis, on a regular week.
Yes, and I think we would make.
Which is a big change from perhaps his regular part-time situation, or isn't it a big change? How big of a change? is it?
His part-time situation, he's pretty free with scheduling his hours. And I think during the summer period, we would want him, we'd instruct him that, you know, to work 40 hours if he can, spraying weeds when the season is right. And he may have to work some Saturdays and Sundays. And he may have to work early mornings or later evenings like he's done so far. And be flexible. As the weed sprayer.
If this went into effect, Dave, when would you wish it to go into effect
I think January 1st.
of this coming year?
That's what I've got on.
Yeah, that's what you got here.
Yeah. And he's not hung up on being weed commissioner. As far as that goes, we could have him as weed commissioner. What I want to have him for is to spray the roads and cut brush that like he's been doing. And he's been doing an outstanding job on that.
So I mean, if we were to take actually, if he didn't want to do the weed commissioner job, we'd have to appoint someone
He'd have
else
to
to do
appoint
that.
someone else, yeah.
And then it would all be just like it was before.
It'd be like it was before.
Yeah.
Now, wouldn't that, being the weed commissioner and being the guy that's spraying it, isn't that kind of to a benefit?
It is, yeah.
And that's
Because you know
exactly
where-
that's exactly what I'm thinking, is I think this is a better situation than we have, than we've
Right,
had in
than
the
we've
past.
ever had
Yes.
in the past, yeah. And we've got the right person, he's interested in the weeds, he wants to do a good job, he's got a tremendous work ethic, just everything we could possibly want, other than, he's really a full-time employee, the way we've been working.
I mean, the way it looked to me in the past, we never really had any kind of a detail of what was happening with the weed commissioner, except for the weed report. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, we had to pay the whole other weed commissioners, we were paying their mileage too. So in this case, we would have to do that,
Sure.
because he'd be using
There
a truck.
there wouldn't be any mileage
No.
involved.
He'd still go to the weed commissioner school, which is good, because he learns about the weeds and learns what the enforcement, and he gets his CEUs for his category 6.
Continuing education.
Yeah. And again, I didn't have this on the agenda, but I wanted to run it by in draft form to see if this.
I don't have any problem with this.
We really don't know for sure where we are with the full-time, part-time.
You know, he's basically working a full-time job for the county. But he's not considered those benefits. Because he's regularly scheduled, I mean, it says in here, regularly scheduled to work 37.5 hours or more per week. Now, just say on a 12-month basis.
I think the important part of this decision is we're getting in for a few more hours at paying, our cost is going to double after you take benefits into consideration. So I think that's the one thing that we need to
Sure.
consider. As well. I mean, you look at what we've paid him, and this isn't through the entire year, but maybe saying doubles a little exaggeration. I don't know what insurance you'd take and everything, but
I don't think it quite.
double is too big of a claim, that's not true. But it would be quite a bit.
It would significantly increase it.
Significant, in the correct term, yes. Is that fair, better explanation, Dave?
Yeah, I could probably figure out what it would be.
You know, we had
Well,
those two new hires you had, one did take insurance and one did not. So, and they replaced somebody that had it.
Mhm.
So, you know, you can kind of look at the whole department as a whole too. not
Well,
just the
and
one.
I guess that's what I'm looking at too, is we decreased our employment out there by 2, not replacing. So, I mean, it's not like we're adding to the budget by doing this, I guess, that's the way it looks to me. Is that a true statement?
That's true, and there's work that it needs to be done and is getting done, and there's not enough time really to do it justice if we just keep on
Yeah.
going the way we are. We can cut back, but I don't think we want to.
What are you looking for?
Kind of consensus.
Okay.
I guess at this point, I don't have a problem with it.
And I said I don't have a problem with it, so.
I don't think the request is unreasonable by any means. It's a reasonable request. I think Dave understands better than I do anyhow what the value of having him there as a full-time employee. And
Yeah.
obviously, would be, the weed commissioner would offset part of that.
You gotta be truthful about this though, because it's only part of it.
Yeah,
It is a small
and
part.
you go from 37.5 to 40 hours, that's an expensive move, and I'm trying to calculate 10,000 or how much that is, but it's a significant amount for those hours.
But we will get work. You know, and it may not be, you know, he could be that extra snowplow driver when Joe Blow is sick with a cold and can't go out.
He does have a CDL.
He's got a Class A CDL, yeah. So he's got everything we need.
Sure.
I think the big thing is on his job description, that you'll have him and other duties as assigned, and certainly use that qualification he has, you know, as a CDL and all that. Because I think we're talking about flexibility within between what weed commissioner and what he's doing already. I think on a larger scale, we need to think of flexibility between all your employees, where he can step in for somebody who can't drive the snow truck that day. But that's flexibility is really important. And if you don't have that, you lose a lot of the value of the employees you do have.
In the wintertime, you know, when he's, you know, you either have snow, if you don't have snow, he's probably gonna do brush work. He does. When there is snow, he's probably gonna be working with snow, when he can't do the brush work. And I don't think I've seen any more Tordon on the payables than I have in the last couple of years. I mean,
We buy a lot of.
we buy a lot of Tordon.
He's cutting
so-
brush, cutting trees, just, you know, grass doesn't grow under his feet.
Yeah, so, like I said, I don't have any problem with this.
And up to this point, it's been my understanding that if it's a day like raining cats and dogs, he doesn't come to work probably because he can't do anything. At full-time, he would come to work, and the staff needs to have
Something.
Work for him.
gainfully,
Yeah.
have him gainfully employed doing whatever, there wouldn't be cutting brush probably.
But when it's raining cat and dogs, there's probably a lot of employees that aren't gonna be doing, you know, I mean, Dave handles that. I trust that he will make those decisions.
There's stuff to do in the shop.
There's stuff to do in the shop.
Yeah, I think we've got a really good opportunity to get a really good person here, really quality person.
And then that's important too. I'd feel bad if we didn't take this opportunity, as Dave says, and then sometime down the road, we're looking for somebody who can't, questionable character or work
Sure.
ethic. You're taking a big chance with the new employee.
You got some history here,
Yeah,
you know his work ethic.
that is very valuable.
There's no issue with basically having an opening and then not advertising for it
I
and
don't
going
think
through the
so.
hiring process.
We posted the weed job when he took the weed job, and nobody wanted the weed job. Nobody ever wants it. I shouldn't say that, I guess we've had a few that have taken it.
Okay.
I think you have a consensus.
You want a motion or something under? Kelly?
Or did you just want a consensus today and bring it back because that's what you said before.
If you're okay on giving a motion without having it on the agenda per se,
Well, it's part of road discussion.
I'll just tell you I'm okay with it if you want to bring it back sometime or whatever.
Let's put it on another agenda.
Put it on for next week.
Yeah.
okay,
I feel comfortable out there.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, fine.
I'm good with that. This was an interesting day, just about put Rich to sleep, it was close.
He was pretty involved. I think he did that.
Not much of an opinion day today.
Yeah, thank you,
Anything else, Dave?
I really value your opinion, so. It's kind of fun.
It's
Well-
mutual.
Huh?
It's mutual.
I gotta just, oh, very good.
Yeah.
10 o'clock tomorrow if you're interested. For Shive Hattery.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. See you next week.
See, Dean?
You guys gotta have your public hearing.
Yep.
Yeah, started at 10.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, it's
Thanks,
a
Dave.
little after 10, 10:34. We'll open the public hearing to vacate survey lots 1 and 2, southwest 1/4, northeast 1/4, section 118534. Is there any comments from the public? This is part of, Neil, you could probably explain it better than I, it's part of
This
Sliceman's,
is-
right?
Pardon me?
Sliceman's?
Yeah.
Yeah, Les and Deb Sliceman have some land that's platted off, and they want to sell part of that off to a neighbor who's putting up an irrigation rig and needs a little more area. So they're changing the boundary lines and selling some ground and changing some plats so that the irrigation rig can make a full circle. So.
Sheridan Township.
Yes, it's in Sheridan Township, of Litterdale.
Northeast Litterdale. Any other comments?
Section 11.
Any written comments, Courtney?
No.
And that's that case, I will close the public hearing at 10:35. Okay, so we need a motion then to, a resolution to vacate the official plat.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to vacate, approve the resolution to vacate of official plat. Roll call?
Miners?
Yes.
Ruggles?
Yes.
Bach?
Yes.
Danzer?
Yes.
Motion carries. I'll pass this around if you could sign it, please.
I'm not-
Abstain.
Well, I was gonna put the comment, I think that first, you guys spraying. Oh, but other than that, that's out of my hand.
Yeah.
Dave said me several times, he's probably too much weight to that.
Yeah.
Just when I thought we were gonna see some savings though. And it disappeared. That's the only downfall I've seen to it, but.
Okay, next we have the approval of plat, we better wait for her, I guess.
Skip one go.
Well, okay, next we have is approval of plat, and this is just basically plat, just make a note of the corner pin. Am I right?
Just to clarify the corner certificates.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is there a motion to approve the plat?
I'll make a motion to approve the plat.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the plat. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary? Motion carried. Okay, next we have is the payables.
I do have a few that came in Friday late afternoon. 3 of them are E911, or 4 of them in the jail. Yeah, thank you. I'll pass this around if you want to take a peek. They are not on the report because that was already done before they came.
Yeah, I looked at these and it's gone. Didn't find anything outstanding on it. Did you?
I didn't see any too other than,
Small
there's a
building.
lot of stuff on the north cabin, and I was gonna ask Dean about that, but that's okay.
What's the security and title for conservation about? Involves real estate somehow.
I think that's probably some of the tickets, maybe that heritage stuff that finally got,
Okay,
Cleaned
yeah,
up.
natural heritage, I bet, yeah.
I would assume, I mean, I'm. Well, they're all E911s, aren't they?
As a sheriff, or
Yeah, what was the jail one? I didn't see
as
that.
a MediaCom.
Oh, okay.
Expensive to have a radio program, yeah.
Okay, you've seen the bills, are there any questions on them?
I will move to approve the payables.
I'll second that.
Been moved second to approve the payables. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carries. Okay, ambulance board appointment. Richard, you got someone?
Yes, I've been in contact with this young lady, and she's agreed to do it. She's would like to fill the Carol Shields resignation and fill out her term, which I think is approximately 4 years left on it, approximately. Lori Pedic.
Do you have an address for her or anything?
No, I do not. I will get, if you need one, I will get one.
Yeah, because we have we have a list of.
Okay.
She currently works at the hospital, so she would
Yes.
fit in.
Yes, she has quite a bit of knowledge. She's a RN at the hospital. So she picks up a lot of knowledge about the lingo and the way things work there. So I think she seems like she has a lot of energy about it, so.
Good. Is that a motion? And,
I would like to make that motion.
Okay.
I would second that.
Then moved second to appoint Lori Pedic to fulfill the unexpired term of Carol Shields. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Work comp renewal discussion. Oh, this is Rich too, isn't it? This is with the,
Yes. We were kind of bounced into the ambulance, the EMTs at the outlying areas. The workman's comp, if I'm correct, was being paid by the county. And they were also being paid for by the cities. And Courtney Joanne did some research, and she's the one that started stumbling into all these things. And then we started talking about the workman's comp altogether. Trustees are also on the workman's comp. Even though they're a taxing authority, they're on our workman's comp. Now, it might be cheaper to have them as a group, might not be. We have, Joanne has informed, let's go back to the ambulance, that, and where this come from, was the city of Bereda's auditor caught that and said that they should be paying for it. Well, he got that to Joanne, the clerk called up, that's how this all got started. So right now, we are going to drop all the outlying EMTs off of our workman's comp, and they will pick them up through their local fire departments. Which that should keep them covered well. But then kind of this conversation stuff led into who all's on the workman's comp, and that's when it came down to the local trustees, and I just kind of found that a little odd. That, unless we're bound by code and
I didn't see anything anymore.
that we would cover them. Even, they have their own taxing authority. That's kind of what way I looked at it, is like, well, they should probably cover their own selves then.
well, either that or if nothing else, reimburse us for the premium.
Correct.
That might be the way
And I,
they're in a group, get by cheaper, but,
that, I did see an advantage, probably because of a group, they did get by.
because I think there is some communities that, the paramedics, EMT, and first responders, I'm pretty sure down Temple, they're covered by the city.
Through
They
their
put them all
local,
on, they put them all on that roster.
through their local fire department roster and whoever else that they cover on their workman's comp. And that's how Joanne was finding it. A lot of them were doing it, well, some of them were not. So that's kind of, we wanted to get that balanced amongst the county, everybody's doing the same
Well, they
thing.
said that some counties have agreements with the cities to cover them. but it's always something that should be in writing or
Right.
whatever. And we couldn't find any record of there ever being an agreement made between the county and any of the cities that the county would cover first responders on our work comp.
Do we know that the other communities, Glencrest and all them, are covering?
She has called them all, and they are all covered underneath their local fire department and the rest of their employees. The only, and she did say that she did try to research this. We have no contracts. She has asked the city clerks, do you have a record of it? No, nobody has a record of it,
So
so.
they've basically been double covered.
Double covered, a lot of them have been double covered.
Well, that's important to know, so if we just drop them all, they're not gonna be a lapse in coverage or gap.
Correct, and that was the concern that I had received from Mike at Breda. He called me one day and he was like, well, we can't even go on an ambulance run until we get this solved. And I agreed with him, and that's when I come in and started digging through it. And when we found out more about this, we were just kind of getting a little piece of it at first. So I guess the only thing that's left, I think that I just want to make sure everybody was aware of it, of what had happened.
I think we need to talk with Terry, with IMDOT, and go through the workman's comp.
We're required to cover them if they don't have coverage.
Yeah.
Is
Cool.
my understanding.
But I think we need to do a little more homework there and visit with Terry on it and get his input, or how other counties handle it, or how they do it.
Say your statement, what'd you just say? Just repeat what you just said.
We're required to cover them if they don't have coverage.
Oh, if they don't have coverage.
EMTs?
EMTs, township trustees.
First responders,
According to the,
trustees.
according to the insurance company, somebody has to cover them.
Yeah.
Probably state code, probably, I would guess.
And some counties cover their first responders.
Mhm.
Some counties don't. The cities do, or the fire departments do.
Mhm.
Did you talk to Terry, or did you talk to the?
That's what I've been told every time I've asked, is somebody has to cover them. I wasn't aware that there were cities covering them, because they've been on the work comp insurance since I started working here. And I just, didn't ask questions because they'd always been on there.
I think we need to do a little more homework.
The only
with it.
reason we caught it was because Breda called
Yeah.
and said, hey, we're covering these people on our insurance.
They weren't, were they?
They were. They were already on their work comp, so they were double
Basically,
covered.
Yeah.
So then Joanne started calling around and found out they all are covered.
They're all been double covered.
So I don't have any trouble with dropping that coverage,
But
because they'll all be covered.
I have a feeling the township trustees are going to need to stay on, because they wouldn't have coverage anywhere else.
And that was kind of my only question, Courtney and I were visiting.
Yeah, but-
Seeing as they have their own
They-
taxing authority, should they just go ahead and cover it themselves?
You know, that.
But the assessor
But-
does too, and she's on ours.
Oh, that's true.
You know,
And that's a good
and
point
like
there.
EMA and E911, well, not EMA, but, well, Sarah's on our work comp.
The fire, with
E911.
township trustees, they're in
So
charge
they're
of like
on
the
too,
fire
and there's
districts and
taxing
that stuff.
too,
I
so
would think they'd
I
be
don't know.
covered through the fire, but I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I don't know, I wish
I
you
don't
could
think they'd be
get,
covered through the county, they're direct, operating under the county.
or if
The only
you
thing
could
is
ask
they-
them to
they
reimburse
set
the county for their
Fire
share.
department's budget, that's
Yeah.
all they have to do with fire department.
Okay.
Rich, I want
Okay.
to thank you for following
But
up
the
on
thing
that.
is-
It's a nice thing to find, and it'll reduce
Yeah,
our
it-
insurance
it-
costs.
it kinda-
Double coverage is senseless, and I think we need to do a little more research with these township trustees.
And I think the trustees probably wouldn't be a very high cost, but the thing is, you gotta have some coverage. If they go out on a line fence dispute,
Exactly.
or one steps in a hole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta have coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, I agree with that. It's just,
Now, if we cover them and then.
and maybe we need to check with them, make sure they're not trying to cover themselves too, or they're double
We
covered
would
too.
see, we would see that, because they turn
Oh,
in
that's right.
receipts and
That's right.
disbursements.
We
We
cover
would see
it.
that, and, yeah.
I don't think there'd be anything there with the township
It'd be nice
trustees
to
that they'd
know,
be doing
and maybe,
on their
I'm
own.
sure Terry could tell us, it would be nice to know what the cost is to the county taxpayers
Yeah.
to cover the township trustees. Because
Yeah.
it might be little or nothing, and it might,
Yeah,
and maybe
I
that's
can't believe it would
why,
be much.
maybe that's why the county never pursued requesting the funds from the trustees, because it was a minimal amount. I don't know.
And don't thank me too much, thank Joanne. She's the one
Yeah.
who really got the point of this and really started doing some digging. You know, She's the one who brought a lot of light to this.
I'll do that. Why don't you, Courtney, I would suggest that Courtney contact Terry and see what our cost is for this township trustee. If they understand their exposure, et cetera, I would think it would be very small.
Yeah, I can't imagine it would
I
be a
wouldn't
lot.
think so, because they're.
Minimal
part-time.
hours,
Mhm.
minimal hours.
And
to be
minimal
spent.
exposure.
Yes.
Because a lot of that is based on their salary, right, Courtney? So-
Well, that, Joanne said that some of that was not based on salary, because that was like, well, whoever's paying for them should be paying their, and she said, well, that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, but they look at what they make, and I think all the trustees are at like, I think the minimum is $300 that they can make. Or the minimum, the least amount of salary you could show for an individual is $300. So all the trustees and clerks are $300, even though most of them never make $300 in a year, because I think they only get like $30 or $35 a meeting anyway.
That's just so the insurance company can charge. us
Yeah,
that
that's like the
much.
minimum, yeah. So they're all covered even above what they're getting
Okay.
paid, but.
Does that sound okay with the rest of the board?
Yeah,
I
just-
think, yeah, I think it just we need to follow up.
We'll get a
Clarify
little
it.
more clarification of what's really
I'd
going on.
like to know the cost of the trustee
Yes.
coverage.
Right.
Yes. And asking if there's any reimbursement for what we've been overpaying.
I could probably
What-
send a
what do you
question out to
think?
other counties and see if they get it. I have a feeling that it's just been something the counties pay for. but
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Okay, enough on that? Okay, manure management updates. We have ones for Double D Port, Holman County Line, Section 34 of Eden Township, and they have made no changes. Get these all clipped together. Then we have one for Aurora North, Brad Goley, Section 21 of Richland Township. They have made no changes. Then we have Schoen Finisher, Patrick Schoen, and that's in Section 34 of Richland Township, made no changes. Then we have one for Prestige Farms of Iowa LLC, PI 233 Finisher, Section 24 of Richland Township, and they have made no changes. Okay? And then down at door. Okay, Marty, you want to start with committee reports?
Committee reports, all I had last week is went in on Wednesday to sign checks at Region 12. This week, I've got Wesco board meeting tonight, solid waste tomorrow morning, and Region 12 on Thursday.
Okay,
That's all I have.
yeah.
Okay, last week, after our meeting, I got a call from Rolling Hills, and they wanted to have a quick meeting on Wednesday, which we did have. I explained to you last week that Woodbury County had showed interest in joining Rolling Hills Region. We're having a lot of discussion, and also Greene County expressed interest in it. And our chairperson thought it'd be best if we all get together and talk that over, so that's what we did at our meeting on Wednesday. What we ended up doing is printing, writing up here it is, just a factual statement. And there's an informational statement, and basically, first it said that, hey, we are not soliciting, looking for new members. However, if you do have an interest in joining our region, here's some things up front that we need to know. And first of all, one concern was, if somebody like any county joins us, we decide who the employees are. So we don't inherit employees that we may or may not want. There's some we're gonna have to have them want, some we know we do not want. So that's one thing they have to understand. We have to have an okay from their board of supervisors. We don't want just one renegade person from any board of supervisors saying, hey, we want to join the region and all this and go through a lot of work. We want to make sure that their whole board of supervisors in favor in the first place, so what work we go through is understood. BV had a concern. They are the fiscal agent, and if, for example, Woodbury County joined our region, it would more than double our work there, and he's not equipped to do that. There'd have to be additional compensation of some type taken for our fiscal agent. We're also concerned about the reserves at this point. Rolling Hills is spending down reserves. Another county would come in and they would enjoy the reserves that our county's
Reap the
contributed.
benefit.
That would need to be taken into consideration. So what we instructed Dawn to do, and she did, was she drew up a letter that had all those things in it. She emailed it out to us, members of the governance board, and she sent it out, provided it to Woodbury and Greene County, because they're the two counties that requested to look into our region. And I don't know if we've heard back from them yet or not, but we'll just kind of clear the air. Then on Thursday, I mentioned that on the second judicial district, there was a serious reduction of revenue because of our loss of federal prisoners. And so I had a phone meeting with the director, Amanda Milligan, discussing various options, things we consider doing, and to make up for that revenue or to reduce our expenses. And didn't come to any concrete decision. She's gonna meet with some employees in different areas and get some more input. But they do have some plans. At this point, I'm not gonna say what they are because they affect certain people, and those people need to be informed first. But I will be getting back to you on that shortly. And she's gonna have two meetings, one the 10th, one the 11th, and after that, we'll be able to report, on a public basis as to what our intentions will be there. Got a text here from Ken, just for your information, 10 o'clock tomorrow. And what's coming up here today, I'll do the radio and newspaper. I'm going to talk about the assessed values equalization notices. And I'll also mention that the treasurer's office is going to be closed on Thursday. Just a reminder, we have flu shots on
Wednesday.
Wednesday. For those who want to do that.
Just seen that.
But that's about all I have this week.
Have you heard any other comments from people about the Woodbury deal? Other counties? I passed on them.
Well, just with our current governance board, we went around, and the question was, would your board of supervisors like to join with Woodbury, or have them join our thing? And I think the general answer was, we're not excited or wanting that at all, but we don't have enough information to make a good decision. Greene County wouldn't be a problem, I don't think. And one thing we did do is see how it would change our taxing authority. And Woodbury would hurt that, and Greene County wouldn't hardly affect it at all. Another thing is Woodbury County is with Plymouth and Sioux County. We know for sure that if Woodbury would join, they would want to join, and they've got things going on we don't want.
That's my question is if they couldn't, do they expect the same programs that they're doing to be implemented continually from this point on, or?
That's part of what we want to make clear in this letter, that another thing we made clear in that letter is they would have to accept our 28E degree. And FYI for Woodbury, that means one vote, one county. They may come in thinking, hey, we got 100,000 people, we have more people than the rest of your region together.
They're gonna get
So
multiple
we want to run
votes.
the show, and we're saying no. And also this letter explained to them what our philosophy is of, how we wish to provide service, how we all work together, and how important sustainability is. So, one advantage of Woodbury is DHS wants everybody to be a bigger population. I don't know why, because those are the ones that are having the most darn trouble.
Is
It's
the
kinda
bigger
like-
populated areas?
And the worst example is all is Polk County, who's the biggest, and they've got all the say in the
Continual
world.
debt problem.
And they're having the
And the
bigger
state
problems.
keeps pumping them money.
Keeps bailing them out.
And so, that was another thing, one vote for one county, and I don't think Woodbury's gonna be too excited when they see what hurdles they have to jump to join our region, but fear is down the line, if we don't accept other counties, DHS is gonna say, hey, you gotta take some counties, we gotta have these regions be larger, that's our goal. and they'll try to force people upon us.
Green County wouldn't hurt us much, I wouldn't
And Green
think.
County
That is one of my main concerns, that we don't get forced with Woodbury.
Yep.
Well, then if you get
Everything-
Woodbury, then you're gonna
everything-
get Plymouth and.
Everything I've heard.
Why are they separating, do you know? Did you ever, I mean, did you get a wind of
I had a
that?
conversation with Denny Wright, he said they had a vote, and the Woodbury County didn't get it his way, and he says, we will do every effort to get out of this.
Oh.
And it was a 3-2 vote that they had, that they did vote after that to disjoin.
Yeah, Woodbury has voted, their supervisors voted 3-2 to get out of the region. And there's two ways they can go, and Rolling Hills is one way and the south is the other way. So there's just a lot involved, and what it was, the controversy, a big controversy that I think that made this happen. They fund a place called the Sanford Center, and I'm getting this off of a newspaper article, so you guys decide what you wanna, how much faith you wanna put in a newspaper article. But the Sanford Center serves the schools, they have people in the schools for mental health situations. The DHS does not require that these people that are in the schools interacting with students be certified in any way, shape, or form. And there are people out there who are not certified. And a supervisor in Woodbury County just driving me nuts. He thinks they should all be certified to make sure they have the right qualified people. And it just so happens that Woodbury County has ones that are non-certified, and Sioux and Plymouth, theirs are certified, although they're required to be. And so that's caused a big issue, and for that reason, that was, I think, the straw that broke the camel's back, or there was a lot of issues, and that one just says, hey, we want out now.
Interesting.
Yes, it is interesting, and it's a very difficult decision.
Oh, yeah.
This was a 2-hour meeting, and we ended up just writing a letter, and everything you guys brought up, we discussed, and cussed and discussed, back and forth, pros and cons. And we really need a lot more information from any county. You just can't say, hey, we
Yeah.
like you or don't like you. We
Yeah.
need to have their money, we need everything agreed.
On the surface, I would say it's probably a bad idea, but sometimes you have to dig underneath the surface. a little.
That was the generic answer by all the members of the governance board, and we also all admit that we don't really have enough financial or information about their services, very important, and their finances to make a
Yeah.
decision. And we request in that letter that they list what
Come
services they
forward
offer.
with it.
And all kinds of things, I guess. For example, from Carroll to Sioux City, that's not very user-friendly if someone has to go to Sioux City for
Exactly.
service.
Exactly.
But yet they probably have some services that if they would join us, we'd have enough population to provide some services that we were having trouble doing as a region.
Because we can't quite manage it.
Pros and cons, we can't.
I guess my figure is at the time, DHS has forced this whole thing from the beginning. They want bigger regions.
They had a big
So
region.
so they can consolidate. What I'm getting at is this whole thing, when it's all said and done, DHS is gonna take it all over, it's gonna be into the state's hands, we won't have a thing to do with it. And that's what's gonna happen over time.
No, you're wrong there, Marty. They're gonna want to have control of it, but they're gonna want us to put money.
Exactly, yeah, yeah,
Because they ain't got the money.
exactly.
They had it
There
once,
was,
right?
Well, they
what
had- no,
what
they
Marty
had
is
us doing
saying
it.
is difficult to substantiate, but there was a lot of discussion in
Yeah.
our thing that said the exact same thing. And a
Yeah.
lot of concern that this is the way it's headed.
Yeah.
Nobody's disagreeing with that could happen, Marty. I don't think anybody sensibly could disagree with what you just said, but there's no proof that it is either.
But
But
they're
it's,
they're gonna want our money though.
it's a
Yeah,
big concern.
exactly, because they don't
Because
have
they don't
funding.
have money.
They don't have funding to do it. Look
Absolutely.
at Des Moines right now, Polk County.
Okay, that's it?
No, let's go on for a long time, Gene, but I'm gonna
Go on.
stop right now anyhow.
It's going on a long time.
Rich?
Had a light week last week. All I really did was, I attended the manufacturing luncheon for the CADC. Very interesting. It was about the cultivation corridor, a lot of good information. appears to me that it might benefit us some here in this area, but I don't put a lot of faith in it. But this upcoming week, all I have is Region 12 on Thursday, and I may try to jump in at 10 tomorrow just for the watch of the, I'm gonna turn it into more of a job interview than I am anything else, so that's all I'm there, just to observe tomorrow.
Okay. Last week, I had a light week too, while working with stuff with the ISAC thing, but other than that, I was at the manufacturer luncheon, and then, like Rich said, it was kind of done to honor manufacturers, but then they had the speakers then talking. And then Thursday evening, also went to the chamber celebration for a little bit. And this week, I really don't have anything except for tomorrow morning now at this point. I am working with, we have talking about trustees, we have a situation in Roselle Township where we have a trustee that moved out of the township, moved into Carroll. So we're looking for a replacement, but I think we're gonna do is the replacement will become the clerk. The clerk wants to become one of the trustees. So I'm working on that. We did get a letter here from the Department of Revenue. It's addressed to me, the chairman of the conference board, and it says, I am ready to inform you of the progress of training being undertaken by Cindy Houghton, Carroll County Assessor. Cindy's provisional appointment as Carroll County Assessor requires that she successfully complete a course of study conducted by the Department of Revenue within 18 months from the date of appointment. 17 months have expired as of October 1st, 2017. The Director of Revenue has determined that Cindy has demonstrated her ability to administer the duties of the Assessor's Office and has successfully completed said course of study to satisfaction of the Department of Revenue. We will continue to work with Cindy until the end of the training period, which is November 1st, 2017. The Director of Revenue exercises general supervision over the administration of the assessment and tax laws and supervises the activity of all assessors. Therefore, the department will continue to work with Cindy, providing additional instruction and supervision in the operation of the assessor's office after the provisional period ends. This additional instruction is not part of the provisional training program, and thus there will be no additional cost to the Carroll County. A letter of certification will be mailed on or about October 31st, 2017. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, 515-281-4796. Sincerely, James, Police and Appraiser 4. So you want to put this in her file? So it sounds like she's doing very well though. Okay? Any comments from those in attendance? If there's no other comments or nothing, Courtney, you have anything? We're in order for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, motion carried.
You mentioned